You know, I had a thought that I wanted to share, and I don't know if this makes sense, but it makes sense to me. I'm just trying to still figure out how to relay it in a better way. But your distractions are what is keeping you from being and embodying your purpose. And specifically the word distractions. They're distancing you from acting, from your actions. They're distancing you from taking action. They're distancing you and distracting you from taking action. Now, sit with me on this one, because I can notice this within my life. The comforts that I have within my life, the distractions that I occupy myself with, the habits that may not be as purposeful or progressing in my life are really what take me away from being the person that I'm here to be, from embodying my full potential, my full purpose. And I'll give you an example of this. I, for a long time, had, and still sometimes do, have a chronic habit of mental masturbation. I'm a huge learner, I'm a student at heart, and I love to just gulp up knowledge. And sometimes I end up on YouTube and I find a video that feels so aligned with where I'm at in life, speaks to my soul, and I get so much wealth from that. I get so much, I don't know why I'm blanking on the word. I get so much value from it. And then I end up staying on YouTube for a little longer. I see a catchy video that maybe is playing off of my curiosity, and then I end up going down the rabbit hole of YouTube, of consuming, and I have noticed that this is the biggest thing that holds me back from my momentum in life, from being who I really am here to be and how I'm meant to be serving. And for example, I can sometimes get caught in those rabbit holes for 2-3 hours, and I know many of you can relate to this because I've done even longer. And but really looking at the amount of time that I spent mentally masturbating or distracting myself from what it is I really get to be doing that will benefit me is ultimately the deterrent from embodying the life that I want. Now, was it more beneficial for me to watch 2, 3, 4 hours of YouTube videos, or was it more beneficial and aligned with me to take momentum and the knowledge and the value that I learned from that first video and then go and do something that really is beneficial to me, like deciding to read a book maybe for a little bit, or like deciding to record a video or edit a video or develop my website or develop my career in whatever way I can, or to go out in nature and to sit with my soul, to meditate, to progress myself. And I'm not saying that the watching the YouTube was not valuable, but there is a certain extent where eventually you're doing something for so long, hypnotizing yourself out of the reality, out of the actions that you know within you can be doing. And that's whenever you really are falling into the comfort, falling into the contentment of remaining the same. And once you really get a grasp of the process of what's happening here, whenever you understand that what I am consuming is no longer benefiting me, but in actuality stagnating me or even taking away from me, once you understand that part, then you actually have a conscious decision to make. Am I going to continue to hide and turn away from those things that I know are aligned with me and aligned with progressing my life and aligned with bringing me into my full purpose? Or am I going to remain the same and hold back my gifts from the world? And this is going to look different for everyone, but a big message here is I really never understood the value of listening to your intuition and acting upon your intuition whenever your intuition is speaking to you. Because I know that you all have this same thing. Because whenever I would go through those rabbit holes, whenever I would do something consuming too much, that little voice within saying, that's enough. Let's move on. Let's stop. Let's do something else. You ate enough. You don't need more food. Now you're just eating to please the senses. That's enough. You don't need to sleep anymore. Now you're just sleeping to hide away from your responsibilities. That's enough. You don't need to argue anymore. Now you're just trying to shove your point down someone's throat, trying to convince them. That's enough. You don't need to read anymore. You don't need to learn anymore today. Now you're being overwhelmed with information and you won't be able to apply it. So, a big thing is to get clear on what it is that is going to progress you in life and have criterias for what that looks like. Like, for example, my objectives in my day-to-day life looks like this. I like to wake up early. I like to hydrate whenever I wake up. I like to do some movement, some exercise to wake myself up. I like to go take a cold shower to energize myself, to clear my stagnation, to shock myself awake. I like to journal. I like to read. I like to eat and relax. But my point that I'm making here is, how long am I going to be doing some of those things? Because we are striving to find balance in all of life, and balance is capable of being found in every single aspect of your life. So I invite you to reflect on what it is that is the most nourishing amount of energy, the most nourishing amount of time that you give or put into whatever aspect it is that you're trying to accomplish or committing yourself to, and to be aware and to listen to that voice that says, I've had enough. I don't need any more. Because a lot of the time the mind wants to take over, the ego wants to take over and says, you should have more, you need more. You should really do more of this, because if you don't, you're lazy. Like, for example, I'm writing material for a book that I am going to release at some point. And it's a constant struggle because I have a goal to write every day. And I do write every day. Sometimes I write a lot more than other days, and sometimes I write a page and I feel burnt out, but my ego is saying, no, do more. You haven't done enough today. You need to do more. You should do more. And that wise voice within myself, that still voice, the voice of my soul, is saying, no, that was valuable enough for today. What you did is going to provide value enough, and you don't need to be so focused on providing an overload or doing more than what is being inspired through you at the moment. And we can use this skill in every single aspect of our life. And this is why meditation is so crucial, because meditation allows you to still yourself, allows you to separate from being completely identified with the ego, and allows you to understand that you're a witness and that there are deeper forces flowing through you than merely mechanical thinking or merely repetitive thoughts that are happening all the time. And being able to listen to this still voice is a skill. And everyone has that opportunity and ability to do so. And we start by becoming highly aware of our day-to-day actions, and to really sit with what we're feeling inside, and to be honest with ourselves. Is what I am putting my energy into, is what I am focusing on right now, is this being driven completely by ego attachments like outcomes or situations that it should look like, or what you think is right, or what you think you should do? Or is it what you're feeling aligned with, what you're feeling inspired with, what you're feeling fulfilled with? Because at a certain point throughout all of these instances, there becomes a line where you're stepping out of balance. So I invite you to see where you can bring balance in your life. Because living in balance is living in alignment with the universe. Nature is your proof and your example of what balance looks like. Because anytime we destroy nature, disrespect nature, nature is going to compensate. And anytime we nurture nature and we love nature, it's going to balance itself out in other places. It's just like the example of a desert. You can either create a beautiful forest in the desert by nurturing it and loving it, and creating balance in that ecosystem, or you can desolate it and destroy it by using chemicals and doing practices that aren't in line with the natural practices of life. And those are two polarities, but balance is always going to come back at some point in time. It might not be in the lifetime that you're living, but it will happen eventually. And the entire universe is balance. So meditate on that. I hope this video receives well with you. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, if you have any experiences you want to share. And I'm sending you all peace, love, light, and blessings. Namaste to you all.